What's up guys, welcome to another episode of the iherng podcast, and this is the first video that I made ever since the movement restriction was announced. So I'm now in my home office setup right now, right? And it has been a very busy week because the team in the makeover guys, we are trying to do our best and trying to solve concerns for property investors, right? And what are the strategies and what are the trends that will emerge after this movement control. As well, we were busy launching our brand new website, right, for the online consultation. So it's pretty cool. You guys can go check it out. I just put it down below the link. And for those at home listening to this, right, I really hope that everyone is doing well, doing fine, very healthy, behaving ourselves as Malaysians, just keeping ourselves at home. I know it's not that easy because I'm also not a really homey person. I love going out, right? But today in this session is I just trying to share some observation that I got and I thought of when this situation happened lah. So there's a few things I want to touch about. Number one is home. So the way we define home and the way we look at a home now, it's so different now. Because when you are forced to be in the house for 14 days straight, right, a lot of things matters. Things such as facilities, landscape, security, and views, right? When you open the door, when you open your balcony facing outside, right, what are the views that you get? Because you're going to see it for 14 straight days. Because for most youngsters, right, a lot of people are like, "Ayah, chin chai lah, I buy this house, right, it's only for a place to sleep, but nothing much." So it's quite common, right, where a lot of youngsters, they got a house, they merely just put a mattress in the bedroom and that's about it because they don't cook. So they don't even have a kitchen. And for this period, I think it's pretty challenging for them for 3 meals or grab food lah. Also, density now matters so much. And the difference between a 300 unit condo and a 3,000 unit apartment, right, now becomes a lot of difference because like social distancing in one floor layout, how many units are there in the same level and things like that. So all those matter, privacy matters now. And when everyone is at home, right, so then when you live in landed and you live in high-rise, right, the gap is even larger because now since everybody is at home, you can hear the floor trap of the water from your bathroom, right, keep flowing and flowing and flowing because everybody's at home, everybody is constantly using the toilet, flushing and flushing. So for those that stays below, units below, right, will constantly be affected with water flushing sounds all the time. And you have people above you, dong 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 dong, maybe they are trying to work out at home. Whereas in landed property now, a car porch or a semi-D, right, that side land, side garden becomes so luxurious. And for living now, right, a 400 square feet apartment in the city, right, next to KLCC versus a 1,600 square feet terrace house in the suburbs, right, then becomes very interesting debate because now being close to the CBD has no use at all. Right, there's no use being in the CBD right now. You got train, no point. You got shopping center, no point. So in this sense, would you rather choose to be close to a commercial area such as like SS15 in Subang or Damansara Utama or Uptown in Damansara, right, or SS2 in PJ? So would you like to stay close to commercial areas now, or would you like to stay above a mall? And that becomes a very interesting topic, and we will discuss that on a separate episode. And what I like is this clearly illustrates, right, the difference of consideration when you are actually looking for a house to stay in or you're looking for a property to invest in. It's a very different mindset. And I think in this scenario, right, when you really live into a space, suddenly the fan location, the aircon location, the bed size, the corridor next to the bed, the toilet basin size, all start to matter. Next, I want to talk about trends. So like after this, right, because everybody now is kind of like forced to be working from home, and then will this cause an emergence of home offices? Because like since everybody find it very effective to be teleconferencing, because like for us in the makeover guys, right, every morning we will have teleconferencing with all the team members and constantly we have meetings. And then now comes the question is, will companies start adapting this module? Because like after this hit, right, I think the economy will actually suffer a little bit. A lot of smaller businesses will suffer and they may need to downsize their offices or downsize their company and things like that. So they may want to cut down or they want to put people on contract, right? So working from home might be another trend when space becomes very expensive in the CBD area. Following that as well, right, do you need to be in the CBD anymore? Because you can actually work from home. So for those offices, those overpriced, super high offices in the town center, right? What's the point of being there? Because if we are not traveling to the city center every day, right, you are very surprised with the amount of time that you actually have. Like we Malaysians basically spend around, normal wage earner spends around 3 hours in the traffic, and I think that's an understatement. So that not including lunchtime and dinner time as well. So the amount of time that we spend on the road is really a lot. Cash is king. My investor mentors or my older folks, right, always tell me this, right? Don't overgear. Like I used to be that person, right? Economy won't suddenly crash on me. So easy to crash, man. But suddenly, if you look into this scenario, right, no one foresee it, and a lot of businesses are actually affected by it. And this clearly illustrates the risk appetite that I always mention. So, what is your risk appetite? Are you the person that overgears all the time, and when suddenly one of you, meaning if you're a couple or one of you lose your job, can you afford it? So like suddenly you will see a lot of auction properties, I think 3 to 4 months from today, because a lot of like corporates, a lot of business owners cannot make it ready, because most of them like live from month to month, cash flow to cash flow. So when suddenly you take away 1 month or half a month of business, right, suddenly they cannot cope. Who has the cash to actually sustain? So for youngsters, right, we tend to think like, why is so difficult in getting a job, right? So a lot of times that we really assume that every day and every year is going to be better and better and better, right? So my salary from 5k, then 6k, then 7k, then 8k, then we are just not prepared for that day, right? We lose our job. If one day we are unemployed, how long can you sustain all the commitments that you have? Some older saying is that you need like 6 months. So it means that you need to have a safety net can sustain you for 6 months. So your total commitment, let's say per month, you need your housing installment lah, car installment lah, telephone installment lah, TV installment lah, your Supreme installment lah, your gym subscription lah, your Netflix subscription lah, your YouTube premium subscription lah. All this add together is like 6k, right? And your saving, you need to have 36k in the bank before you actually do anything. Suddenly, in this kind of extreme situations, you will know what is important and what is not. However, on the other side, right, where all these auction properties are actually pushed out to the market, it means opportunity for those who have cash. And I know a lot of uncles and aunties, right, they have not been investing in properties at all for the past like 3 to 5 years, and they keep telling me, Sean, it's not time yet, it's not time yet. To me, I just ignore them. But now suddenly they are calling me up, asking me, hey, what do you think of this, what do you think of that? And I'm just very surprised with the amount of wisdom. And these are the group that has went through the 97 crisis and the 2008 punya crisis, and now they are fully prepared. So it's really up to you if you're a conventional investor, meaning you are a more conservative person, or you're more there gaga you chong type of the investor. So in this situation, you can really see the extremes lah. That's why I think I mentioned in an episode before also that I'm very comfortable in investing the middle range properties, meaning like the 3 to 500, maybe 600,000 properties, right? Because for those who are living in a million now, when they look at their investment and based on the joint income of both husband and wife to actually purchase the property, suddenly if one side of them actually lose the job, they can no longer sustain the house. Maybe 7,000, 5,000, right? And the house they actually go for is ₦1,000,000. So £1,000,000 requires around 5,000 in installment, right? Then suddenly when one party actually lose the job, habis. And in 3 months time only, 3 months time, your property will be auctioned. But of course now the bank, please, for those who are affected, right, please do check the banks where you can defer your payment or not if you're really affected by the virus lah. So maybe you are forced to take leave or you're forced to resign or your contract got terminated and you lose your job. So you need proof when you're applying for all this relief from the banks. Adding to that, right, so now the Prime Minister also just announced that you can withdraw money out of your EPF, and for a lot of people the extra 500 can be a lot, some can be a little bit, but for those who have purchased a property within like 2 years lah, so if you still have your SPA, right, you can go and withdraw from your account 2 of EPF. If you recently just purchased a property that is 350,000, you can withdraw up to 35,000 from account 2 or everything inside it. So not asking you to continue spending it. It's just an information for you just in case you really need more cash to sustain the family. On the other side, with the current interest rate that is so low right now, if you really know which property that is a really good buy and you can really leverage on the rates and other people's money right now, this is also a golden opportunity that's coming on really soon. But I would suggest to wait around 1-2 months for the real effect to happen, because in this situation, again, I really like where it can really show the characteristic of real estate versus share market. For those who invested in share market, and especially for those who invested in US share, I am just devastated because they just plunge so badly and it's happened just like that. And there's nothing much you can do unless you react immediately, but how many of us can actually react immediately? And that is the main reason why I actually no longer invest in stock market, because of this character. You earn money fast, you have very high flexibility on cashing out, fluidity, right, of your money. But suddenly when things like this happen, habis. But for real estate, rental still goes on. The property price won't immediately, like from 1 million to 700,000, it wouldn't happen. It will take around to 6 to 9 months. So it's a very delayed kind of effect, and you can actually do things to prepare for it. For those who overgear themselves with the money they don't have, right, they just buy and hoping that the cashback will help them. Now I am very worried and very concerned of you guys. So in this period of time as well, since I have some time in the night time, because basically got nothing to do but editing videos, I'll be catching up with all the backlogs of the questions that you guys sent me. Normally I will be busy as hell to actually answer them, but now maybe I'll just do a video every day, maybe 2 videos a day, just to help you guys go through this together, keep you guys entertained for like 17 minutes and I think that's all. So in conclusion, right, so the way we look at homes are now very different. For own stay now, your consideration should be very different in comparison to an investment unit. So investment, you just look at location, connectivity and data, right? But for a home, suddenly all these specs suddenly becomes very important. Facilities becomes very important, security and etc. Wi-Fi, internet connection, does this building allows fiber connections, right? All this becomes super important, and that leads to the trend of maybe home office coming back in and people moving away from the city, right? Do people want to stay in the city anymore? No point, because I can work from home. And what's going to happen to the suburb house pricing and the city center pricing? Right, it's going to be a very interesting thing to observe. I also learn and have more respect for those adults, right, or those elders that has went through 2 or 1 economic crisis, right? I really respect, right, the discipline that they have. Normally they don't spend money on any dumb shit at all. They still drive a Toyota, although they can like buy Ferrari or Lambo, right? All saving for a rainy day like this. Suddenly you see them, they are not going to office, they like, never mind one. You still need to pay your office workers, so never mind one. They got saving and reserves. So these are some values that maybe we shouldn't save like up to 2 years or 3 years, but a 6 months gauge should be very good for your rainy day fund. So I implore everybody to start saving. And with that kind of savings, only you can leverage on opportunities like this where the interest rate is the lowest. People are panic selling because they want the cash flow. They are desperate, and you get all the access and all the time to decide whether to buy or not, because I doubt there will be a lot of people that has the courage and they have the money to buy and invest right now. Also, the property characteristic versus share market, where you have a delay effect, not plunging immediately or not rising immediately. There's always a delay effect from 6 to 9 months time, which allows you to prepare yourself. This is me just checking in on you guys, and I guess that's all for this episode. If you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Take care. Ciao. Bye.